Hi guys, I'm Daddy Freeze, convener of the Free the Sheeple movement and leader of the Free Nation in Christ. I greet you and I bring glad tidings. I want to talk about the ongoing protests, and I want to use this medium to implore people. First of all, I'm going to give this my personal ideology. Please, if you're a Nigerian living in Nigeria and you join any protest, you're being hypocritical. You've got enough to protest about in Nigeria. These people that you are protesting with, remember their government gave them $1,200 as stimulus package. Did your own government give you 5K? Not dollars or naira. Did your own government give you as much as 5,000 naira? Let's be honest, let's ask ourselves the truth. Secondly, when when Nigerian brothers sold fellow Nigerian brothers to Libyans, and Libyans sold us as slaves for between $500 and $700. Where were the protests? Africans discriminating against Africans, enslaving Africans. Where were the protests? How many of you honestly have experienced discrimination from a white man? Let's be honest. You yourself, talk to me one on one. Me and you. I don't want to hear what they are telling you or what the media is playing. You. I have never. Vic has. Taste buds too has. But personally, I have never. But if I now ask you, how many of you have experienced discrimination in Nigeria because you're not from a certain tribe? Do you know there are places in Nigeria you cannot buy land if you are not indigenous to that place? If you are not from that place, they will not sell you land. Do you know how many couples were ruined because the father said he would not allow his child to marry a Nigerian that is from another part of Nigeria? If you don't have what to protest about, protest our power system. That is still a prayer point in 2020. Let me ask you a question, a very painful question. The wicked, those that were supposed to be discriminating against us and what is it called? Doing all they were doing to us. The moment they gave us independence in 1960, by 1966, we had killed 3 million Igbo people. Do you know that if they did not give us that independence in 1960, that war wouldn't have happened? Because I don't see how you're going to fly that war under their rule. The moment we got independence from them, the first thing we did was we depopulated to the tune of 3 million people who up until today have not been spoken for. We did this to us. My people are depriving me from marrying a Muslim girl who had a child for me. I'm sorry, I'm going to insult you, Kechuku. Now you get time. Throw away those people that no be your people. Marry your wife, unless no be your wife. If you know say na your wife, throw away your people. No be today they don't they throw away people. In this Lagos, I know landlords that will not rent out their houses to Igbos or to certain tribes. How many of you marry an Edo girl? You will say she's a witch. Make we follow ourselves talk now, protesters. You are angry that they killed George Floyd. Understandably so, I'm angry too. And then you go and break the Rolex shop and walk away with watches. That's not anger. That's a crime. Did you see that video I posted on my Instagram where they busted up New York, Fifth Avenue, all the luxury shops? You are angry that they killed George Floyd and you are burning a Mercedes-Benz shop. Nigerian Muslims will not date Nigerian Christians. There was a story on my show. Brilliant girl, very painful story. First class economics graduate. Let me discuss this with you. Those who listened to my show the other day would remember this story. First class graduate, beautiful, curvy, fine girl in every ramification. Each time she brought a suitor home, Igbo girl, they will say she's Osu. They will not allow her, the husband to marry her. 3 different suitors ended in heartbreak for the girl. She was graduating without a husband, first class. Now runs into a Norwegian oil worker, I think where they sent her to do IT or something. Marries the Norwegian, Oyinbo. Norwegian carries her. Norwegian no know wetin be Osu, no be una dey foolish una sef. Norwegian carry am go Norway. Before you know, and they don't send for his sister too won't marry Norwegian. Do you think that girl will ever see white people as bad? Left to her own people, she'll still be husbandless, despite her beauty and her brains. Oyinbo no look Osu. She is beautiful, yes. She has sense, yes. Is she an asset to me? Yes. Boom, I marry her. You are angry that they killed George Floyd. Do you understand the financial depression the whole world is getting into now? And then you are burning the sources of people's livelihood? Even if they are insured, do you know how much the insurance is going to bear? Does it make sense to set ourselves up so stupidly? I'm done. I just need 2 minutes. I'm not staying long. So that's all I have to say, guys. I don't want to waste your time because I have stuff that I'm doing, but this was heavy on my heart and I needed to come and address it. Uwa's body is still warm, and it is George Floyd. As far as I'm concerned, George Floyd is more of a police brutality case. Yes, protest police brutality, but that's not, in my opinion, with a black policeman in the background. To me, George Floyd, now SARS matter. And if you want protest SARS matter, we get enough for here. Of course, everything in America has undertones of racism. Somebody said, yeah, there are undertones of racism. Oh, yeah, there are undertones of gender inequality too, because if she was a woman, they won't kneel on her neck either. You can put undertones of whatever you want to put undertones of. But the truth is, election is coming in November, and people want to manipulate the narrative, and you are funding it. There are people who did not have work before COVID-19, and there are people who lost their work because of COVID-19. And now the economy is in tatters. Many of the Nigerians shouting, yes, let's protest, let's do this. It's not because they care about George Floyd. It's because they're planning to run away from Nigeria to go there, and they want the ground to be watered before they get there so that nobody will do this to them. Let's be honest. I applaud people from the United Kingdom. Oh, fantastic protest. They came out, no destruction, no looting, nothing. Fantastic way of expressing their grievances. Not the Americans. It's a bit too much. And guess what? Now listen to this. Listen to this. There was a guy showing all of New York. Rolex shop, Burberry, Versace. But they didn't touch the church, the house of the white God. No. They don't touch the church. They broke the economical centers, hobnobs, where the money's coming from, but they left the church. What do you think made them slaves in the first place? How do you think they got to America in the first place? What do you think what was the tool they used to keep them as slaves in the first place? The King James Bible. And you destroy everything except what made you a slave in the first place. What do you think brought the missionaries, the slave ships? One day you will wake up. You have the right to be angry, but don't misdirect your anger. And now let me tell you something. This racism narrative is going to be overplayed. Boyfriend breaks up with girlfriend, white boyfriend breaks up with black girl, is going to be racism. White boss sacks black worker is going to be racism. Everything, you see, people know how to emotionally manipulate situations. Don't fund it. Christ did not tell you to make black superior. Christ came to make black equal. And if what you're fighting for is creating a superior class, I want you to know that Christ is not with you in that fight. Many people are going to fund and fight a narrative that's going to become exploitative. Yes, racism must stop. But let me ask you a question. Are we doing well? Who is talking to us? Blacks are 42% of the United States, 14% of the United States population, but contribute nearly 50 something percent of the murders. How can 14%, and then whites are 70 something percent and they have 42% of the murders? We need to also talk to ourselves. Who is talking to black people? You take your money and you put it in the church. They take their money, they put it in investment, in institutions, in research. You put your money in religion. You put your money in parties, showing off, driving the latest cars, wearing the nicest clothes. You are shouting Bill Gates is bad. Bill Gates wears t-shirt. Mark Zuckerberg wears t-shirt. Meanwhile, black butcher, we get small money, will go and buy a Louis Vuitton bag. And you say they are your problem. Yes, they're your problem. But most of all, you are your problem. And until you think, you change the way you think, until you change the way you talk, until you change the way you act, until you change what you stand for, you will continue being victims. Someone said, I don't think it was a straight-cut case of racism. How can it be a straight-cut case of racism when there's a black policeman in the background? You want me to show you the video? You will see the black policeman in accord with the rest of them. As far as I'm concerned, is a typical SARS harassing somebody that went overboard. You cannot call it racism if there's a black police. If there were 4 white policemen, racism. There's one black, one chinko. Did you not see the Chinese policeman driving people back? Stay away, stay away, stay away. He was the one covering it. The white guy was the one kneeling. But you see, you've got to understand that if every other policeman had said, get up from his neck, go, no, you're overdoing this, sir. This is not what we're supposed to be doing. It would have been a totally... Watch the body language. Go and get hold of the video. I've watched it. Watch the body language of the black policeman when they were all going. When they got to the back of the car, they all had a conversation. The black man went to get the Chinese guy. They all went together. And the black man rode with the white guy who knelt on his neck in the same car. I know racism. I'm not a fool. I'm 44 years old, 6'1". My mother didn't raise a fool. Does it have undertones of racism? Yes. As much as it has undertones of gender inequality. Because if it were a woman, they wouldn't be kneeling on her neck either. Police brutality is this issue, but because there's an election in November and Trump has been labeled racist, you know I don't like Trump. But I see prejudice here. I see labeling here. I see opportunistic infections coming up and springing up and changing the narrative to something that it really isn't. And I will not stand by and allow you to be fooled into this. Protest racism, absolutely. Protest police brutality and inequality, absolutely. The media has manipulated the narrative, absolutely. Some people say, yes, there are always going to be casualties in this kind of behavior. Have you ever seen me come here to complain about police cars that they broke? You're angry. You're breaking a police car. I understand. I don't understand you breaking a Rolex shop. I don't understand you breaking the Gucci shop. And by the way, the Gucci shop was not touched because it's in the Donald Trump building. Only two things I saw that were not touched were the church and the Gucci shop. We've got to wake up. Christ does not want you to manipulate a narrative against your brother. It's as much of a sin as what you're accusing your brother of. Somebody say much of the Protestants ain't looting. You don't need to be much. If 3 of them loot, is enough. You need to tell yourselves the truth. Stop dodging this. This is not fair. Just watch that video. Everywhere was broken into. What anger makes you go and rob your neighbor? Then tomorrow you go and come and say, yes, I'm justified because I was angry. I was a slave for so long. Have you ever thought about your contribution to your own slavery? Have you sat down? They say, if dog bites you today, everybody will shout, I called your dog. But by the time you go to the next street, dog bites, you go to the third street, people will ask you, say, come, why is it now only you dog they bite? Someone is asking me, why will I believe Fox News? I'm seeing the independent reports. Leave Fox News. We're seeing the independent reports. There's Instagram. Everybody is a news station. I'm a news channel. They go, you want to go and steal from Zara. Let me ask you a question. The Jews were slaves in Egypt, at least according to the biblical narrative, for 400 years. Why are they no longer slaves now? Because when they came out, they fixed their mindset. After what Hitler did to them, they should still be crying up until now. No, today they own the world. Why can't we be like that? How are we still crying over a 400-year-old story? Are we not ashamed of ourselves? Oprah is the richest black woman. She's worth only $3 billion. Somebody's telling me this is deeper than I think. It's not deeper than I think. I live among us. I see how we think. We take our money and invest it in religion, home and abroad. There's something we are doing wrong that nobody is addressing. White agitators are looting. We are also looting too. Everybody is looting. It's wrong. Stop blaming it on anybody. I saw enough videos of black people looting, and I saw videos of white people looting too. Leave the white people looting. I'm facing us now. Nigerian man, change the narrative. You're going to continue being a slave if you worship their version of your God. If you're not diligent enough to go and look for your own God and find out about him, instead you're worshiping their version of your God, there's no way out. You're going to continue being a slave because you're going to see them as God. Why didn't they bring down the church? The house of the white God and his white son. You've got to be able to rise above this ineptitude and deal with issues firsthand. Let's stop. Okay, Oprah is not the richest black. I said the richest black woman, not the, must you argue everything? If you don't get everything, you go talk. Find work, do now. Which black woman is richer than Oprah? I said Oprah is the richest black woman. You're telling me it's not the richest black. Fix the fact that we love the easy way out and we love the glamorous life and we don't like to build societies and we love to squabble and fight amongst one another for supremacy. Until the black man learns to love the black man, he's expecting too much of the white man. And I say that again and end with it. Until the black man is ready to love the black man, he's expecting too much of the white man. You can't take love if you can't give love. Join us tomorrow. Our sermon is going to be live. 10:30 in the morning on Instagram, on youtube.com/Daddy Freeze Teachers. Please follow me, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and hit the notification button so that you can get notifications when I start. Please make sure you do that now. God bless you all.